something that I want people to be on the lookout for starting January 21st, 2025. Be on the lookout for that because on January 20th, it said that Trump will be in the White House for a second term. And I don't say outright that Trump will be in the White House. I say it in ways like it's been said that he'll be in there because I think the DNC and the other powers that be still has some time to pull something.
Take a look at what happened.
It doesn't necessarily have to be that, but they still have time to pull some stunt. Maybe like how they ousted Joe and installed Kamala without the people's say-so. Or in other words, I'll believe it when I see it. Now, something I want people to be on the lookout for are the people on the left. On the left meaning bona fide Democrats, Democrat by default, Democrat meaning just hate for Trump, or Democrat by wanting Kamala as president just because she got a pussy and or is a person of color. They're going to be letting their voices ring out, voicing like trumpets sounding if Trump gets back in there. I said if. And there's something that I want people to be on the lookout for January 21st is how whatever bad that happens during a president's administration will be the fault, responsibility, and doing of that president and his administration. Unlike now, where nothing is the fault of Joe Biden and his person of color vice president. Biden nor nobody in his cabinet is at fault because all that's happened during his term can be explained. They have been able to explain away everything that Biden and President Kamala Harris has been doing. Excuse me, did I call a second ago? I called her vice president. Excuse me, I meant president. Everything that they have been explaining away everything that Biden and President Kamala Harris has been doing. I said president. I said President Harris. President Harris, because Biden not here. I don't know exactly how long he's been away, but he hasn't been here with us.
Doesn't give me AI vibes because it's moving, Tom. So if you go back up at the top, Rob, and play the clip again when the neck is moving, yeah, let it just move. Yeah, leave it alone. Watch this.
All of the tax breaks, essentially all the tax breaks.
That's moving naturally.
All of the benefits flowing to the top 1/10 of 1%.
Okay. That almost looks like it's a different
including going back to the Great Depression. Right.
Okay.
Ever.
So you can pause it here now.
But anyway, there will be no more explanations come January 21st. There will be no more silence on an administration like the left has been doing these past 4 years. They've been silent on the demonic activity of the Biden, now Kamala administration. And from how I see it, their silence is how we're now expecting Trump to be in the White House again for a second time. Their silence. You see this? This sea of red right here. Do you see it? And if this is legitimate, it happened because of the silence of the DNC's constituency. You see all this red? It happens like this when people run away from home. People run away from home because of abuse and or they see freedom elsewhere. Whatever they ran away to made more sense than where they were at. That's why all this red. Silence. Looking at their own flock like, hey, what's the matter with y'all? Why y'all not protesting none of this satanic activity? Why are y'all explaining all of it? Why? But January 21st, oh, you gonna see people being held accountable. You gonna see feet being held to the fire and all that. Ain't gonna be no explanations, nor silence. Like how they've been on inflation. They've been explaining away everything about inflation. But guess what inflation going to be on January 21st? Go ahead and guess. Inflation. That's what it's going to be. You know what inflation going to be?
Okay,
Let's
Mr.
talk
McMillan.
about the issue.
Mr.
People can't afford
Mr.
to pay their
Cuomo,
rent.
30
Stop.
seconds for you, sir.
Rent is too damn high.
And it's going to be period point blank. Rent too damn high. Ain't going to be no expeditions like they've been given for 4 years. They going to feel it. They're going to see it. And they're going to be telling us about it with no expeditions. They're going to know what it is in January. Whereas now, they talk to people who complain about rising costs as if it's a figment of our imaginations, or they say stupid shit like, well, inflation happens because companies raise their prices. Yeah, no shit. I've heard people say that dumb shit. But come January, barring incident, instead of being the givers of the explanations, they'll be the receivers of explanations, because the right got plenty. Yeah, they got plenty. The right gonna be jam-packed with excuses and explanations, and they're gonna be insulting people's intelligence just like the left been doing for 4 years. The people that's been explaining for 4 years are gonna be dumbfounded at how the right is gonna be explaining away everything. They're not gonna understand it. Meanwhile, they've been doing that for 4 years, explaining away everything.
Now, Democrats, just like they did with the recession, are trying to redefine the definition of inflation. Listen to this.
Well, what happens is inflation is just a conglomeration of a whole bunch of costs that are either going up or going down. So if you address the basket of costs that are in there, and if you lower energy costs, as an example, we're going to save the American family $1,000. That is going to bring costs down for people, and it is ultimately going to lead to a reduction in overall inflation, but most importantly, to the budget that people have every single day. Inflation is like a theoretical word that economists use, but what families feel every day is the up or down of costs.
We are serving up a garbage casserole for you this morning, because that was a bunch of, well, nonsense.
You see that? Did y'all hear that? Ain't gonna be none of that come January though, watch. But those are the kind of explanations in silence that the left been giving us, and not just the politicians, but also the constituents. Constituents meaning registered Democrats, left-leaners in thinking, or females who just wanted Kamala just because they got a pussy and she do too.
We are not standing on the brink of a recession because of forces out of our control. I think that's very important to understand. This was not an inevitable part of the business cycle. It was a failure of leadership in Washington. A Washington where George Bush handed out billions of dollars of tax breaks to the wealthy few over the course of 7.5 years, and John McCain promises to make those same tax cuts permanent.
And so this has been hard on folks. It's been hard on our country. And it's going to take some time before middle-class Americans regain the sense of security that's been slipping away way before this recession hit. A lot of these factories were moving out before this recession hit. There's a lot of outsourcing going on over the last 20 years.
To be honest, I inherited a mess. It's a mess. At home and abroad, a mess.
Donald Trump inherited a strong economy from Barack and me, just like he inherited everything in his life.
Barack blaming Bush, Trump blaming Obama, and Biden was about to get in there but blaming Trump already. But it's all in the game. Each side blaming the other side for what's currently going on, putting current conditions on the previous administration. I know that. I know it's the game. I didn't just get here yesterday. It's a game. And part of the right's explanations will entail the blaming of Biden and President Harris. And don't be mad about it. Don't be mad about it. Don't be shocked. Don't be bewildered. Just understand it's what you've been doing for 4 years, and especially understand this.
All in the game, yo. All in the game.